Alright guys, we are going to start a new unit on genetics. And we're going to take it slow. We're going to just do some vocabulary today. And then we'll see how it goes and get further and further. So we'll start with, what is the definition of the term genetics? Any ideas? Anyone? Anyone? Genetics, it is the study of heredity. What does that mean? If you take a look at my picture I have over here, I have some money, right? If you inherit money, that means you're getting it from somebody else. In our situation, we're talking about genes. We're talking about your traits that you have, whether it be your skin color, hair color, eye color, height. That's all of the things that you inherit. Who do you inherit it from? Your parents, right? We can say this is the study of the transmission of traits. So let's go forward here. What are some examples of traits? I have a bunch here. We have one. This kid is rolling his tongue. You have dimples. Hair color, I think we're looking at there. We have eye color. If your earlobe is attached or not, whether you're colorblind, these are all traits, and there's all sorts of different ones. So if I missed your favorite one, I apologize. So what are traits? In our situation for this class right now, these are physical characteristics. So let's say we're just looking at one particular trait, eye color, right? So you are going to inherit these characteristics, or this characteristic, from your parents. I say S because you're getting it from mom and dad. So that means you're having two copies of this trait, right? And if you remember from last year, whether you had Machichi or you had Miss Sideritas, you have lost my train of thought there. So, I was saying, this dude, Gregor Mendel over here, he did some studies. Back in his day, they had no idea why people had different hair color, eye color, and all that. So he's doing these studies on these pea plants, and he was just looking at height. And he realized some were just tall, some were short. So then he put together this idea that you're getting two copies of a trait. You're getting one from mom, one from dad. And we call this an allele. An allele is a different form of a gene. So you have two alleles for, say, eye color. So we could do a simple Punnett square. Let's say we have this big B is brown and little b is blue, right? If you were going to have whatever color eyes, you're going to have two versions of it. So it could look like big B, little b, big B, little b, whatever. You're going to have two copies. Now, are all of those expressed? Or are you going to see all of those? So let's say your mom has blue eyes, your dad has brown eyes. You're going to have one blue, one brown all the time? That does not happen. Why? Why doesn't this happen? Not because of him or him. That's a cool tattoo right there. But imagine if they messed up and you had like Big E, Little E, Big E, Little E, and then they screwed up the Punnett square. Then what are you going to do there? All right, so we have, here we go. So we have dominant traits. Some are dominant, and some are recessive. This term dominant, what does that mean? That is going to be expressed when that is there. In our situation, that is going to be the capital. That is going to overtake the recessive. It's stronger than the recessive, right? If you're a dominant basketball player, dominant track runner, you are the better one there. All eyes are on you. Dominant. Dominant is going to be the expressed trait. So what does expressed mean? The one that you see for our situation. So in our example, let's say we talk about eye color. Let's say eye color. I'm just going to erase this over here. There we go. If the capital B is brown and the lowercase b is blue, and they're together, say big B, little b, you are going to see brown because the capital represents dominant. So I have to erase a little bit over here. Let me think. I'm just going to erase. You know what I can do? We can do this. Can go. I need a space. I should have added a page. Can I add a page here? No. So I'm going to erase a little bit. Okay. Let me erase a little. There we go. So the capital represents dominant, and the lowercase represents recessive. Okay, so let's do a little practice first, make sure we understand what's going on there, although I know you definitely did this last year. Apparently this is the time where I get a lot of emails. All right, so let's say we'll go Gregor Mendel style. He had big T, that was tall, and little t, that was short. Again, you get two alleles, one from each parent. If we have big T, we have two dominant. Why is it dominant? The capital represents the dominant. So what is that plant going to look like? What's the trait that's going to be expressed? Tall. If I have big T, little t, what is that plant going to look like? What is the expressed trait going to be? Tall. Oh, why is it going to be tall? The reason it's going to be tall is because of that dominant big T that overtakes the little t. So you don't see it. You cannot see every single allele that you get. It's just not possible. Again, you don't have one brown eye, one blue eye. You don't have half your body is this color, half your body is that color, right? So you have one that's expressed, the other one is not. And then in this situation, if we have little t, that is going to be a short plant because there is no dominant there. Interesting little fact. Having 5 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a recessive trait. A dominant trait is called polydactyly, 6 fingers on a hand. So here's some food for thought. Why does the population typically have 5 fingers? That's recessive. Moving on. So we covered a little Gregor Mendel. All right, so I'm going to jump over that, and we're going to say we have this homozygous versus heterozygous. So with homozygous, this is going to be the same, well, in our situation, the same case, the same letter case. So homozygous, 2, the same alleles. So an example of that could be in our situation with eye color. That would be big B, big B. That's called homozygous dominant. Or we can have little b, little b. What do you think that's called? Homozygous recessive. So they have the same allele, and it's either going to be capital or lowercase. That's homozygous. Heterozygous, on the other hand, is 2 different alleles. You have one dominant, one recessive. 2 different alleles. So example would be big B, little b. That's heterozygous. That requires a little studying. You do have to memorize that. If you can remember the term homo over there means same. Hetero means different. Could help. And we got one more piece of vocabulary that we want to cover. And that is going to be genotype versus phenotype. So I know my numbers are kind of out of sorts. It's different when you're in the classroom than when you're sitting at a table and your son is playing with kinetic sand. All right, so genotype is just a genetic makeup. Really, it's just the letters. So big B, or big B, or little b, little b. That's the genotype. So whenever you're asked, what is the genotype of a homozygous recessive individual with blue eyes, and blue eyes are recessive? Little b, little b. What is the genotype of a homozygous dominant brown-eyed individual? Big B, big B. All you're asked for is the letters. Phenotype, on the other hand, that's my favorite because one of the easier ones to understand. Phenotype starts with P, H. This is the physical, starts with PH, characteristics. So if big B means brown eyes, then that would be the trait there. Brown eyes, blonde hair. It's what's expressed. It's what you see. So for me, the phenotype, I was big T, really tall. That's sarcasm. All right, so let's go over this vocabulary quick, and then we could do some sample questions. We have allele, that's alternate forms of a gene. So big T, little t. You get two versions from your parent, one version from each parent. Dominant, that's the capital letter. That's the one that's expressed if it's involved. Recessive, if there's a dominant there, you don't see it. That's the lowercase letter. If it's just two alleles of recessive, then you would see the recessive. Genotype, just the letters, the genetic makeup. Phenotype, the physical characteristics. Heterozygous, that's two different cases, big T, little t. Homozygous, two of the same case, whether that be big T, or little t, little t. So let's take a look over here. If we have over here, which one would be the phenotype, which one would be the genotype? So I have just BB, that's genotype. 6 fingers, phenotype. Someone who's funny, I don't know, is that a phenotype? I guess so. Phenotype. Big R, little r, genotype. Just the letters. And here's a great way of looking at it. Here's the actual genetic makeup of a dog that has blonde fur. I think that looks like a lab. So this is the genotype over here. There it is. And then that gets expressed, and the expressed trait is called the phenotype. It's what you see. We're going to get into how that works. I have a lot of labs on this, and we'll see if we can get some of these done. This way you can understand it a little better. But if you remember that DNA turns into RNA, and then it goes to the ribosome to turn into proteins, that's what this is all about. So we just did a little vocabulary today, and that's that. If we look here, if you remember I told you get 23 chromosomes from mom, 23 from dad. You have alleles on chromosomes from mom, alleles on chromosomes from dad. They come together. The dominant ones are the ones that are shown. Unless there's no dominant and there's recessive, then the recessive ones are shown. Here, you could take a look. I have eye color. This person has a blue allele and a brown allele. They're saying brown is dominant. Therefore, this person, individual A, has brown eyes. Individual B has 2 brown alleles. Therefore, individual B has brown eyes. Individual C, right there, has 2 blue alleles. Therefore, individual C has blue eyes. I hope that wasn't too confusing for you. I have a worksheet that you're going to work on today. Tomorrow we'll review that worksheet. I'll review that worksheet, and then we'll go forward with genetics. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.